Okay, go ahead.
Hey, everybody. It's Emerald and Damon. Emerald and Damon. That's how we usually say it. And we are going to start up our videos again. We did 2 videos. One, introducing the concept of the videos. And then 2, married people and their friends was the second video. In this video, we're going to talk about C-sections, and the
stigma, maybe,
okay,
that comes along with them.
Okay.
And just kind of that experience. So recently, I read this article just kind of celebrating mothers who had delivered their children via C-section. And obviously it really resonated with me because I have 2 children who were both delivered via C-section. And something that it said that I think is really true is that, people have this idea of a birth experience that, like, it's like the strong way to, like, have a baby and like, that mom is so fearless and so strong. She didn't take any drugs and she was in labor for 22 hours and her and her husband or her partner, whomever, are, like, actively in there, and he's coaching her and she's pushing, and they, damn near didn't even need the medical staff there, and, like, that's like the strong woman way to have a baby. And I guess that kind of that's everybody's idea of, like, what it means to have birth or give birth. Like, when you watch TV, when you watch all that stuff, like, that's what they're showing. And so for somebody who has had 2 children, who has had my first with Cleo, we had minutes to prepare for a C-section. I was in labor for 20 some odd hours, and we had minutes to have a complete change in everything that we thought was going to happen and prepare for something that was now life-threatening to our child and for me. And I don't know, I guess you can talk about how you felt about those things. But to kind of have that minimalized in society's eyes is kind of a weird feeling, because I feel like I did what I had to do for my children to be healthy and to be safe. And ultimately, with this second pregnancy, it was very different, because Reed was fine, but ultimately for me to be healthy and to be safe, I needed to have a C-section. So, I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. I think, I don't know, I'll stop there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like whoever wrote the article that you read, I think hit on a lot of key points about how, people have this perception of what birth is and how great it is. And it's really funny because people who have natural births and then they have to do a C-section, let's say they have 3 kids, the first one was natural birth, the second was C-section, they want a C-section the second time because it's like...
The third time?
Yeah, the third time, because, it's just like, there's no real trophy. You don't get a trophy and a certificate for natural birth.
Yeah, but even saying that, like, I hate to be this person, but even saying, like, yeah, they definitely want to have a C-section, makes it seem like it's easier. It's not. It's easier.
It's not easier, but I think when you, in situations where it wasn't, it's like, I think it's more difficult when it's not planned. Like with Cleo, the doctor came in and was like, yeah, her heart rate's dropping every time you have a contraction, so we're going to have to go ahead and do a C-section. What do you think? And I'm looking at him, looking at you, drugged up, and I'm like, wait, you want me to make that decision right now? Okay. And, I started crying because I was like, she wanted to have natural birth.
Well, plans change, and I can get down with that. It's just, I don't know.
I think when you mentally prepare, like, I don't think some women, some families aren't necessarily always mentally prepared for that type of thing. And if you've already had a surgery before, it makes it, I don't know. I don't think it makes it easier.
Because think about what happened with Reed. So I had already had a cesarean, so I knew the process. And I had known from the beginning I was having a cesarean. And yet, I was scared out of my mind on the operating table. So one of the things that the article touches on is it says, a lot of times women who are preparing for a cesarean, they're in the operating room and their partners aren't allowed in for some time before while everything gets prepped and everybody's in place. And that was the case of what happened. You can come in for at least 30, 45 minutes as they were prepping. And so I'm laying there, I'm getting a spinal, which could paralyze me. I'm by myself. Yes, there's the medical staff, but I'm by myself, and I'm scared out of my mind. Mm-hmm. And I had months. I knew what was happening.
You didn't let me finish. What I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
Because even the little facilities was different. The doctors was different. Obviously, the pregnancy was different. But I think a lot of people, when they do have multiple births and multiple C-sections, they know a bit more about their doctors and their nurses and their facilities, and that anxiety and that fear isn't necessarily like. Yes,
They've been going there for 9 months.
That ain't a long time. I'm talking about years. I'm talking about years.
I haven't been going to Dr. for years when we had Cleo.
But that was that. Like I said, that was in the moment. Like, we need to do this. But if we had stayed in New Hampshire and you were going back to the Elliott, you had Dr. Annisdale, and we knew what was going to happen, when I was going to be able to come in the room, I think mentally we both would have been like, because I was standing outside like taking pictures of the clock, like. I'm standing out here for 45 minutes. Like, what's going on?
You cannot prepare. You can't. There's no way for you to prepare yourself for the possibility of becoming paralyzed.
Yeah, no. Like, no one. Like,
but
no,
that's
of
what
course.
I'm saying. Like, there are things that go
unexpected.
Along,
that's the part of the unexpected.
There are things that go along with this procedure that I think are overlooked. And I think that there are things that psychologically that a pregnant woman who's already on 10 as far as emotions go. Mm-hmm. Have to deal with when they're on the operating table. I mean, this happened with Cleo and this happened with Reed. So we're past even the spinal, the epidural part of it. And when they say the baby's out, and my first reaction is, I can't hear her. Where is she? What's going on? Like, they're like, just because I can't see her because of how they have me blocked off from seeing my child. Not something that happens when people have natural childbirth. I think there are just so many psychological elements that people don't typically think about that make a mother who has to have a C-section just as strong as somebody who goes through natural unmedicated birth.
Yeah, no. That makes sense, yeah.
Not to mention the weeks
it's surgery.
Of recovery, of having abdomen surgery. I've had abdominal surgery twice now.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I can't speak on that because I didn't have surgery and I didn't bear a child. But it is, the same anxiety, like the same stuff that you think of all the worst case scenarios, I think of, right? Because I'm standing out there waiting. I'm like, what if right now my wife is being paralyzed from the waist down? Okay, I got to stand out here and wait because I can't run in there, Or like with Cleo, you were shaking and I was like, please stop shaking. Please stop shaking. Like, I could see it.
The adrenaline was it was a lot.
Yeah.
There was so much adrenaline.
Pumping.
And then, just to think about the fact that you have to have this abdominal surgery, and I don't get to lay in the bed and recover, because at that point, guess what? I have a new baby that I have to take care of. They can't do anything for themselves.
And that's why I'm all for having help, husband, mother-in-law, mother, whoever wants to come and help afterwards. Because I think that was help. I mean, yes, it's stressful to have those people in the room because it's like, my titty need to be out. Oh, sorry. My breast needs to be out. And so, but there's certain things that you just can't do, like hold the baby, move the baby over here, all that stuff. Like,
you can barely sit down to pee.
Yeah, you barely move. You barely get out. You got the catheter and all that stuff. But
so I guess this was just
moral of the story is,
yeah, I guess this is a long-winded version of saying next time you see a pregnant woman or you think about what it means to like call a woman strong when she gives birth to a baby and somebody says, yeah, I had my baby, unmedicated, natural, that's great. And that really is a feat. Like, they should be congratulated. But don't, take for granted the fact that there are some women out there who, one, don't have a choice, and two, deal with psychological stressors and anxieties that are beyond belief laying on an operating table thinking about the well-being of their child. I mean, it's hard.
The strength of being pregnant is pretty up there with just saying congratulations no matter what.
Period, no matter how you do it.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like women who just are downward facing dog having babies, in the water having babies,
Yeah.
you know, on concrete,
Everybody.
in the back of Uber taxis, and, you know, all sorts of stuff. So she'll comment the article. Comment what you would like to see. We did this before, but we kind of lost track of all that stuff.
Nope, I have notes of other topics. You don't have to do it. Unless you've thought of something else. Let us know some other topics you want to talk about.
Yeah, they won't all be this deep. Sometimes it'll be like sitting or standing. So
I will never have a conversation about sitting or standing. I can promise you all that.